This is your captain. We're almost to Bangarang, so please prepare for landing. Return your seat to the upright position and make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Local time is 8:42 p.m. Not really. We've got clear skies and the temperature is comfortable. We'll be making a water landing, but that's okay because this is a seaplane. Hey there. What's up, everybody? My name is Island Dweller Frank, aka Frank Live, aka call me whatever you want. And this is my channel, and today I am going to be reviewing my own 5-star island. This is a Neverland-themed island, hence the name Bangarang from the movie Hook in 1991. And for those of you that don't know, it was a really cool movie. So Bangarang was a catchphrase in there when they supported something that was done that was pretty amazing. So you have characters in there like Rufio and Thudbutt, Pockets, Peter Pan, Captain Hook, and the whole cast, right? So I wanted to record this in a nighttime setting because I really liked that vibe. And Peter Pan starts off in the nighttime when Peter comes to the Darling house and gets Wendy, John, and Michael. And just like the movie, we start off in London and head second star to the right, straight on till morning. Welcome to Bangarang. Before we start, alright, so here I am, Frank Live, and here's the pan. We also have Thudbutt, who is my favorite Lost Boys character. We have Raymond, we have Ketchup, Mary, Rudy, Marshall, Mitzi, June, Lolly, Molly, and Lil Bill. Then we have the museum here, Taylor's shop, resident services, as you saw, and the campsite, where we just came from. Hey, where'd that wand come from? Alright, so here is a look at my entrance, which is obviously London inspired. We have the moon to the left, which kind of gives that little feel when Peter takes the kids to Neverland. You also have the infamous red telephone booths, as well as the throwback containers, which would represent double-deckers. And obviously we got Big Ben there, which is an iconic landmark in London. So I wanted to have a kind of rustic feel with, the way it looked with a lot of brown and bricks. And you have your little yellow telephone booth there to kind of give it a pop of color because everything is kind of dull. But I also used the rocket here as kind of a way to represent skyscrapers, I guess, since I couldn't have the Eye of London there. I wish. So there's just a lot of little things here that are kind of just very brick related. Then as we move around, here's resident services here, little Mitzi over there. And then over here we have a train station. So, you got your double deckers there. And I really liked this. This is one of the first things I ever put down. And it's such a tiny space, but to me it's so impactful. But as we move through, there's a lot of pictures you'll find of London that have like these city lights and where they come in multiples of 3. So we have Raymond's house here, little garden area there, Ketchup lives there, some telephone poles, Molly lives there, clocks everywhere, always good to tell time wherever you are, right? Then we have Rudy's house there, and we'll get to the background later as we move into the video. So, we'll just come down here and continue on in London, really. Little water fountains kind of make it feel alive. More phone booths. And then here is what I call the Neverland Inn. So I threw some fireplaces there, put it backwards, but gave it that stone feel. And this area was originally the Darling house, but I just couldn't figure out the interior, so I turned it into the Neverland Inn, which is, the hotel. And I wanted to make this a castle, but it just seemed pretty difficult with all the ideas I had, so I just went simple with stone arches, the little meteors, the lion dogs, and then the stone henges. You have your little silos in the back to give it kind of like a higher feel, a lighthouse, because I said this was a nighttime thing, so the lights were very important. So we have the little lobby area here, and I love the entrance and the rug I had with the pirate map because it screams Neverland really when you ever want to look for the map. Kind of looks exactly like this, so I wanted to keep it kind of, I guess, imaginary with the little fake tree in the back, but a little tribute to Captain Hook with the bottled ship, but still kind of make it realistic as if it was a lobby, but it would just kind of pay tribute to what to expect in the island. So, typical grand piano there. I liked the dark colored scheme with the gray tiling and then the little brownish walls. Kind of didn't decorate it as much, but it was not many pieces that I wanted to throw up there just to fill space, so it would kind of look off. But I wanted things up there just to make it look kind of full, I guess. Here's the tour of that overview. And then we'll head into what is called the Neverland Loo, which is the bathroom. So here I really liked this tile. So this was actually a lobby tile, which should have been in the main entrance, but it kind of fit the vibe more in here. And I turned off the lights and just had the lamps just for a kind of an intimate setting, awkward, right, in the bathroom, but it's a unisex bathroom, so you have the standing urinals, and then you have a little private section there. I liked the little bounty arch light. So even, I guess, in the interiors, I wanted to really emphasize the lights and kind of just how it illuminates everything kind of in a special way. So I liked this. Here's a little overview. And then this next room is just a cafe. But every hotel, I guess, has somewhere you can buy food, right? So I don't have a specific name for this other than cafe. But, I kind of like the full feel of this because it made it feel busy and as if it was used. I kind of liked that approach in a lot of the things that I did. So as we go through the island, you'll notice I have almost zero space to do much of anything but walk through. So a lot of my areas take up a lot of space, and I didn't want really square things because, it's kind of typical in a lot of islands you see, so I wanted to kind of be different and give myself more room for creativity, I guess, with certain areas. So on this side, with every place you have your standard room, and that would be this. And for this room, I wanted the cabin feel, just very simple, I guess, but still kind of felt in the Neverland theme. So this is almost, I would say, like a pirate ship. And I liked the little gold offset that the Scorpio lamp gave. No, I'd stay here. Overview. All right, in the next room, come on, let's walk faster. So this next room is one of my favorites, and it is the Lighthouse Ballroom. And I really wanted to put a lighthouse in here just because it's not typical. You would find these more on the beaches, and I liked that it had a purpose in the house. So a lot of these are wedding items, but I like the whole chic look and just the white of it as well. So you have your grand piano, little cello there, the anchor as the additional center focus of the room. And then I like the snowflakes and how it gave a different type of lighting, even though you would expect that during the winter time, right? But it's what time traveling does. You can get items that you shouldn't have yet. And I like the rug too. Kind of just gave it a really fancy feel to the whole thing and made it feel like a real ballroom. So, set up a DJ and just have a dance party right in the middle. And then our last room of the Neverland Inn is the Neverland Suite. And for this room, I really wanted it to feel kind of like you were in the clouds, so that's why I have these little hedge standees white because it gave it almost that fluffy kind of in the clouds feel. And there are a lot of pirate items, but that's part of Neverland, I guess, with Captain Hook. And then I continued with the white theme because you're supposedly paying a lot of money to stay in here, right? So it should look a little expensive. So you have the little lamp there, a lot of the Zodiac stuff in here. And I threw up the gel bars kind of as a partition. Did a lot of the antique set because I thought it was classy. And, you have the same bed as downstairs, but you're paying for space up here. Then I thought that the little wheel there, can't remember what it's called, but, it was supposed to be like a pirate ship. And I really liked doing this room. I had a lot of stars up here, but then I lost HHA points, and I'm not about that life. So that's the end. Let's move on to the rest of the island. And a lot of this is still London, and there's some mixed on as we go, but I'll talk about it as we get there. So I wanted the outside to kind of still have like a very expensive feel. So there's your Valiant statue and your fountain, flower stand, then that mother statue that's fake because her tongue is sticking out, another lighthouse, then a little pond back here, kind of just when you want to exit the hotel and hang out wherever. Hop over here. It's a little waterfall area. That had a whole bunch of other things before, but got rid of them since. And then this area is kind of a beach lounge area. I liked the white, continuation of the white feel. Got a little lighthouse back there, the pool. I liked how the little purple gave off kind of just a nice little color compared to everything. So here's the boardwalk, and I liked the idea of fun boardwalk, so that's why I put all these games and like a big bear and the toys you could win. It just accented the lighthouse with some white flowers. A place you could just come and hang out by yourself or with your friends. So as we move back, we're going to head west. And we're going to look at the museum, the beach, and then head on into Neverland. Little bridge. This bridge took forever to make. I couldn't get the angles right. Little edit there. And I kept the brown fireplaces so that way it could kind of keep with the theme as we went along. You have a little chill area here. And here's one of my favorite areas that I created, and it's my museum entrance. And it's also probably the only place that you will find that is symmetric. And I thought that that was important just to really capture the beauty of this area, and I kept it only to yellow flowers and the yellow hedges and even light colored cypress plants with the base. And I liked the statues and the addition that they brought. Kind of, it screams museum, but it also is done in a different way than from other museums that I saw. And that's always important. When you're making your island, you want to try to do something maybe that somebody else did, but then make it your own. Otherwise, you're just creating somebody else's island. So for me, this was not typical of your regular museum. No fossils, no fountain, no waterfalls, flat, and I still think it looks great. So as we move west again, you have your little furnace things turned backwards to keep with the brick theme. Then I googled an image for London and New York, and I thought it would be cool to just, stay in London but kind of peer into the other side of the world, other side of the Atlantic. And, Statue of Liberty was also just one of Gulliver's items. So here we have the silos, and on this side we have the cliffs, which would kind of be more of the like countryside of London, I guess. And I used the tires as tunnels. So, as you can see, it kind of goes into a cliff here. Pretend, use your imagination. We're going to be in Neverland soon. So we're going to move to the beach now. And here are the mushroom parasols that I used as parasols. So I thought it was important to have a standing umbrella. I originally thought of using just regular umbrellas and turning them the opposite way, but they were on the ground, and I didn't like that, so I was glad that I finally got the DIYs for this, and it really gives it a complete feel for the beach. And I wanted to keep the bonfire to make it fun. And then the backside here, what if you don't like salt water? You can do some chlorine, so here's a little pool, but it's just a regular standard pool. Overview of that. Then we'll move into Neverland. But that means I have to change. Here we go in my little sprite costume. Alright, so over here it's still kind of Londonish with the beach, but this is the campsite, the Lost Boys campsite, and we'll go to the beach first. So here, you continue to do the parasols, or I continue to do the parasols. Just really, it was filler. This place used to just have flowers that had no sense of purpose, so I had to move Marshall here. This is his house, so I liked it because I was able to just add a little more, I guess, design to what I was trying to go for. And in this area, you have the shelf, you have the rocket, you have a gumball machine, and I really wanted to keep it like a kid's area because, you never grow up in Neverland unless you're Peter Pan, move away, have 2 kids, and then the movie Hook gets produced. So here is Rufio's little sled, and if you've watched the movie, he uses this to travel and goes along the little tracks. So that's also kind of why the train was here as well, to kind of like merge the two. And then over here we have Thudbutt's tent, and Thudbutt is my favorite Hook character. So what I loved about the tent is that you're still able to design. So this is very, very simple, tiny house nation style. Just got a sofa, TV. You want to read a book, you want to turn off the lights, you can do it all here. So as we exit, you see the little cliff side here, and tires are the tunnels as well, but I really like this train set because it kept the area alive and it made it seem like it was, happening as we were going through the tour. And I didn't mind the grass growing everywhere because this would probably be a place that's not tended to anyway. And then here's a train station where you would probably get off on the other side of New York. Throwback containers, drink machines, lecture hall benches. Now we'll move on to the campsite, which was probably one of the very first areas that I ever did. This used to be on the east side, but moved it here, got the polar bear sculpture, and I liked it because it kind of pays tribute to myself. I was born in Alaska, so a little piece of me in here. Then you have the moon up there. Then as we go up, you'll see some cardboard boxes, and I wanted the feel of kind of a fort since this was supposed to be a playful area. So that's why those are there. And then this table represents a scene in Hook when they were all eating, but there was no food, so you had to use your imagination, and where they had the food fight with all the colorful little slops of food. So that was fun. And one of my favorite scenes, because this is where Robin Williams tells Rufio that he's like a nose picking maggot muncher, whatever. And then this area of flowers represents one of the scenes where Peter is trying to. They're the Lost Boys are trying to teach him how to fly, and they shoot him from a large slingshot into this little colorful, muddy area. So that's what this was. Not really mud, but and then there's a shell back there, and in the movie as well. I'm going to reference the movie a lot, obviously, and when Robin Williams' character Peter Pan finds himself in the mermaid lagoon, they save him by hoisting him up in a shell. So later in the movie, there's an area with a tree where a tree has a face, and I use this as a way to represent that. And some your camping cot in the back, which is just regular campsite stuff. But as we move into the tree in the movie, Tinkerbell lives in a clock, and there's a part in there that has like a red silhouette, or no, a red backlighting. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this, and why it was important to do it at night to kind of give that same feel. I mean, minor, right? But I thought it was, you really have to like the movie, like I do, in order to kind of understand it and to appreciate it. So, overview of the campsite. Yay! Fun, 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 right? Sleeping bag, little Rufio thing again with the tracks. Then we come down here, and we're going to move to the beach side. So I kept these cones over here as a way to just, continue to represent childhood, and that you should never grow up in Neverland. So over here we have the mermaid sofas, and guess where we're going? A little jellyfish, barnacles. And this is Mermaid Lagoon. So you'll notice the little rocket lamps there and the shell lamps, and this was important for this area because it kind of gave that feel of being underwater, and that was important to me to, instead of creating a room with the wallpaper and the flooring, to kind of do it outside but still give you that idea that you were swimming underwater. So these hyacinths and the mums, these all represent coral, and coral can be really colorful. So I also wanted to use these stone henges as a way to kind of make it look like it was deep underwater. And also why I use the actual aquariums to give it that motion, just like the train set, instead of just like the football fish right here. So you see the rocket lamps looking like bubbles. You got your little clownfish there, little fossil of, I guess, a prehistoric underwater animal, seahorse statue. And as we go back, this rock used to be just a whole bunch of barnacles stacked on top of each other, but then the Stonehenge, I feel, added that little extra thing, especially since it was all stone. Termite mound to give more of a maybe dead coral feel. Then your little shell bed turned backwards, and then you have your live eel, kind of almost like a Little Mermaid vibe, right, with Flotsam and Jetsam. And I love that this painting existed because it was just exactly, it tells everything of the area. And for my island, what I like to do is really give a spot to transition from one to the next instead of having to go all the way around. So in this area, right here, is just a transition into the next one that we're going to go, which would represent Tiger Lily. And for this area, I wanted it to be feminine to represent Tiger Lily, and use pinks and blues, and just with the housing here, I wanted it to still feel like the residents lived here, but kind of make it have a purpose and a theme. So as we go through here, you see Mary's house here. She has a pink roofing, which was perfect. The design here was very simple, not trying to overshoot anything. We have little June here. Mitzi's house is over here. Her house is blue. What I also liked was the incorporation of the real palm trees or coconut trees because they're almost nowhere else on my island on the beach, so it was a kind of a good addition for this area. Threw in a little bridge here, kind of last minute to give that extra connection, although you can go the other way. And also because I had space for a bridge. And then here was my use of bamboo, which would be Tinkerbell's little area. And you know, when you think of Tinkerbell, you think of fairy dust, which would be yellow, and then green for her dress, yellow for her hair as well. So everything here was coordinated with that in mind. And I wanted it to kind of have a fancy feel again, but with the statues and the zodiacs. But I was also inspired by Crazy Rich Asians and the wedding scene, so that's why there's this little waterway here, and then bamboo benches. It was just to give it that interesting take on something. I used to have a house here, but I found it really tight for space and limited on what I could do. So it ended up just turning into this little area. Used the Cosmos showers as, you know, an added aesthetic and movement to the area. Then down here, I used the wedding arches and I turned them sideways because I don't like to do things the way they should be done. So I thought it added a different approach to using them. Then this extends. This is the bamboo garden. That would just be more of like a zen area. And there's little Ketchup, who of course is going to block me during my tour. Thanks so much. This area used to be a lot bigger and centered, but for what it was, which is Dead Man's Circle, I didn't need that much space, so I just surrounded the skeleton with trees to kind of, and then use the gravestone as a way to just say, hey, this is Dead Man's Circle. Black roses. I think there's some purple rose. Yep, there's one right there. And then this was the last thing I added, which kind of just incorporates everything about the island. So you have Big Ben, you have the pirate ship, you have all the characters, Peter, Michael, John, Wendy. You have the clock, you have the dog Nana from the movie, pirates, then you have the little symbol panels that kind of represent the forest, and then the majesticness of being a mermaid, and then the little hedge standee that's a hibiscus to represent the tropical side, and the wood part to represent Captain Hook. So over here, we're going to move to Nook's Cranny, but I'd like to change the name to Hook's Cranny. Yay, puns! So, you know, bike rack, but then this is where my area would be, little island dweller Frank, and there's a little shot that I love. I love the different colors of the flowers mixing together, but most especially the wide use of, you know, the terraforming and giving this big space of water. And the only way to get to my house is either through a long shortcut or through the ladder. And we forgot to let you see Abel's, which probably could have been without because it's just this. So let's go take a tour of my house. Or no, let us go look at Red's area. This is just, you know, use of random items, fishing, barrel. Nothing special. Red's not here selling his little stolen fake art that nobody wants but actually does. So we finally get to use this little ladder that I mentioned earlier and head into my house. And I love this color combination of the house. Lolly's house is in the back. But again, with the fake trees to kind of give that it's not real feeling. So my house, I wanted it to look like a real house and still be functional, but still have things that you may find. I don't have these things in my house, but if I could, I probably would. And I like the use of brown with against the white flooring and the red carpets, and how the orchids offset and contrast from the way everything is, threw in some panels to kind of give it, to use as sliding doors. And here is my bathroom, and have the Taurus bathtub because I'm a Taurus. This changed quite a few times, but almost the same. But again, leaving the water on because to make it feel like, yeah, it's functional. And I think that, this area was something I could probably see an actual bathroom excuse me, looking like. And I like how the colors complement each other really, even though they're almost similar. But that's the bathroom. Then over here we have where all the dreams happen. My dream address is in the description below. You can come visit anytime. But this room I wanted to make it as peaceful looking as possible, even with the lights, but just somewhere that felt relaxing. You have the harp there, and I love the backboard of the bed with the rose, because it also can represent Bangarang. No, I don't want to sleep. Thank you. I'll just lie down. And I love the little lattice wallpaper and all the yucca plants with the brown base. So the other side is my kitchen, and this was the last room that I did, and it changed so many times from a kitchen with whatever items in there, and then went to what did it go to? A little lounge, then went back to a kitchen. And a lot of what happened here was because I was so limited on items and the color of items. So I feel like that is what a lot of people have the most trouble with, is kind of using items because they have them. And then, a lot of them become a little frustrated because it's not what they were imagining, and kind of just putting together things for the sake of putting things together. So, once I was able to get all these items, that's when it became a whole lot easier to design. So here's my downstairs man cave. I love that little football fish because it's a little angler fish. But this was my little recreational area where I do my DIYs, where I could play foosball, pinball, ping pong, watch TV. And I loved the color of the room too. And I tried to make every room a little different. I mean, some of the rooms were brown, right? But just the whole aesthetic of everything, like make it cohesive but make it different at the same time, if that is even a thing. Then here's my bedroom, which I thought had a lot of personality in there, and I love music, so that's why a lot of the right side is music. oriented, and then had the bed, loved the carpets, and I like that little pop of blue that the dresser has. You know, just the space, really, and it was my space that I liked. So all this art came later, and I thought it was just a nice addition to everything. Kind of. Oh yeah, I guess I also love art. Surprise! It's the overview. And then we'll continue with the rest of the tour. Still with me? Alright, let's go check out. I'll say it when I get there. Hoppity hop. This is what I like to call, it's not on the map that you would normally find for Neverland, but this I call Wendy's Willow. Little lighthouse, little Stegosaurus addition there just for the plates and to kind of give it a different aesthetic. And this was important for me to put in because there's a scene from the cartoon Peter Pan that the Lost Boys are jumping through a waterfall area, and I thought this was really fun, especially because they actually do hop. So as we go up, this theme is more on the purple side. There's little lolly blocking my way. There's the Stegosaurus plates, and it's a different function for it, so that's why I liked that it was there. Little spinning wheel, don't be lolly mad, use of the mushrooms and the moon crescent, the bounty arch that I turned sideways just for the side. And then over here, I mean, I know there are no dinosaurs in Neverland, but this was one of my favorite things to do. And it was because it looked real. No, we're not going to encourage. We are going to be shocked. Yeah, I liked that it looked like the Tyrannosaurus was wrapping around the tree as if it was going to come out and, grab me, like in the movie with that guy who was using the restroom. Okay, I'm over it. Then we come down this way. You have the purple lighted tree, little lighthouse, more mush lamps. Saw a little bit over there. Lolly coming in. Oh, and then this was very important to me, was the use of the cypress plant with the trees to make it look like a willow tree, because you know how willow, the vines just fall off the tree, so that's what those are supposed to represent. Then you have your little flower beds, purple, of course. Just one last look over here. And again, I love just how all the colors are just there. It doesn't seem off to me. And this is what you saw in the overview, the beginning. And then here is my shadow. And now it's running away. So this area used to have a house over there where the sticks are, but I moved it because it kind of just was out of place. Like just like I moved in the Tinkerbell area. And here's Captain Hook's ship. How fortunate we have some shooting stars. Then in the movie, of Hook, the ship has a huge skull in the front, so that's what this was supposed to represent. And then just really random objects because they're pirates, right? So they would probably have these. But one of my favorite last-minute additions to this whole pirate ship was the soccer net to use as a net that you would find on a pirate ship. So I thought that was pretty clever and a good use of something that, instead of just having a soccer field. Let's come up here. Here's all the treasures. And then here's little Bill's house. And I love that Bill's house was a cabin because it still fit with the aesthetic of a pirate ship, and just, everything fell into place when I got him. I think he was my last one, so we found the booty. here's another little pirate pun for you. This area, you see the little film there and then the video camera, and that's because they're pirated films. Yay puns! You know, red lighting. You see the red and black flowers up there, just to go with Captain Hook's clothing. Then over here, we have just a little area for pirates to chill when they want to. And in the back, we have another part of the Neverland map, and you'll find that it is Skull Island. So it took me a long time to figure out how to turn the eyes on for these little things. Shooting star, yeah. I guess you have to play something, so in case you didn't know that, with the play music there, it'll close as if it's playing a record. So over here, you're wondering where the crocodile is, so welcome to Crocodile Creek. And this area was meant to have a dark and gloomy feel, and it adds to the whole point of it being shot in the nighttime. So that's where this came from, and all the black roses, and then you can see the crocodile. Ooh, spooky. Which is just the monster statue, but you know, that tail, I think it just was the perfect item to use for this area. And as always, I like to have a little way to cut through, so from earlier when we were in the London, so we can just move through here. You know, in case you ever do come to my dream address, you can go through there instead of going all the way around, but secret. A little scorpion here, Gulliver, who's a pirate, obviously, which was the perfect little surprise when I was doing this. There's a little ghost for all the lives we have lost. And that completes my island. And this is Bangarang, and thank you guys for hanging out. And I hope that this video somehow inspired you. I intend on doing some visits to other 5-star islands and then doing some tutorials. I have another island coming up. I think I'm going to call it Hattori Hanzo from my favorite movie Kill Bill. So be on the lookout for that, but you know, hoping to provide you guys with some other ideas, entrance ideas, and then maybe some live streams if possible. I would like to do some giveaways too, so you can follow me on Twitter at IslandDwellerFrank, and Instagram, same handle, and I'll probably have some Twitch and Discord stuff later, but you know, until then, stick around and you can see the island during the daytime. But for now, see you later, and thank you for visiting and for watching this.